Welcome to the seventh episode of PodWERX, a podcast and podcast show that brings you leadership and life lessons, knowledge, experience, and wisdom from the individuals across our company. So today we are redefining the way podcast was run up till now. We have a new tagline for the audience. It is like everyone has a story to tell. So with past six episodes, we learned that everyone has their own story, and people are learning different things from this story. The perception might be different, but everyone's story is unique. So today we are interviewing our own host Rohit Tikoo. So Rohit, how does it feel to be on the other side of this time?
I think you know what. Till yesterday, I was feeling very excited since the time we decided that I'll be guest this time. I definitely was excited, but today I think I should say that I am both excited and a bit nervous as well. Actually, I got up today even before my alarm rang, so I think that explains itself how that there was a certain level of nervousness. And I think I'm just hoping that the audience should not be at least disappointed. So that's all I'm hoping for today.
Okay, that's great. The audience would definitely get good content out of this, I'm sure. Moving to the questions, Rohit. I'll take one from the title of this episode, from Kashmir to Pune. Like you already know, I'm a big fan of the Kashmiri tea kahwa. And the last time you came to Pune, I asked you to get me a bag of kahwa. So, like, what can you tell about this cultural drink from Kashmir?
Yeah, kava. So basically, it is so in layman's term, I can say that it is similar to green tea. But yes, if I have to define it, it's kind of a hot beverage which is made by actually bringing green tea leaves with you can say a blend of spices, nuts, and saffron, and yeah, and it has a lot of. I mean, talking about the health benefit, it's a lot of health benefits. It improves immunity, digestion, and cold. So back when I was in college, and if I would have got cold, I would definitely drink kava because I would have that packet with me. It definitely helps me a lot. And I think apart from that, so talking about how it plays a role in our Kashmiri culture, so it plays a very important role in Kashmiri culture in terms of hospitality because it's served to guests as welcome drink. And this tradition is still alive because these days, even today's weddings, even if it is hosted at big hotels and whatnot, so this kava would still be served to the guests. Yeah, and one thing I just realized today is that you pronounce this word as kahwa, right? But there's actually another way to pronounce it. It's called kehwa. Um, I don't know what's the actual difference, but I think it would be just the cultural or geographical difference where people say it as kahwa or kehwa.
Right.
Yeah,
That can be one of the reasons. So, up till this point, I called it kahwa, but now I'm definitely going to say kehwa.
both of them are right.
Okay, that was a very good insight. Yeah. Uh, Talking about Jammu and Kashmir and the culture about like Kashmiri culture and stuff. So most of the Indians know like it's a quite unstable area. I myself had a first-hand experience when I traveled to Jammu, and so I had this experience today morning as well. So my fiance she traveled to Jammu, and suddenly we all couldn't reach her because the prepaid SIM was not working there. So then I got back the memory of the time when I traveled to Jammu and my SIM wasn't working. So I had to do some other arrangements, get someone's SIM, a postpaid SIM, and then I could communicate with the family. So this instability in the region, is it still there?
Um, so if you're talking about the network issues and all, yes, definitely, and I've been facing it since my college days. That my prepaid SIMs from Jammu and Kashmir won't work in Pune, and their SIM won't work here. And we have to use postpaid if we want it to work at both the places. But back in college time, obviously we didn't have that kind of a budget to make it work, and I think I just used to manage it somehow, maybe using my mom's number. But these days there's a trick now for me, at least it's a huge relief for me because there is a SIM called there's a SIM category which is introduced in J&K, especially. It's called pre on post. So basically it has features of both prepaid and postpaid. We need to just recharge it simply as we do on prepaid, but we have to pay a 10 rupees bill every month. So it does work outside the state as well, but we have to purchase it from here itself. And I think we
Right.
need to have the address of Jammu. It's
Jammu
yeah.
based address, right? So I think it's not only with the SIM. Like I remember last year when we were working on the project, the whole year actually we were trying to huddle you, and it was never working. I don't know, like the huddle never worked with you. Some of the links didn't work. Thank God Salesforce link did work. But other than that, there were a lot of efforts, to get you on a lot of networks, even on the client networks. And even this Riverside POC took a lot of efforts. So, what was the story behind
Oh my
it?
God. So there's this new thing which I also got to know. Not a new thing, but I just got to know about it recently. So I mean, when I came to Jammu, my hometown, after COVID, so I knew that I need a solid internet connection. That's when when we installed Geo Fiber, and I was pretty confident, this is gonna work for sure. But what happened was last year suddenly my huddle won't work, and then some of the other links won't work as well. And I never knew what is the reason behind this. I came to Pune, it was working there. I came here, it was not working. And Sonali as well, right? Sonali, but she's also from Jammu, and she says it works for her, and I had no clue. And then when we were exploring Riverside, I got to know that it's again not working for me. Then I thought, okay, I'll just raise some complaints. I raised some complaints with Geo, and later I got to know that it's a problem with Geo Fiber because the government of India has put some restrictions, and it has been guided to every telecom industry that certain IPs have to be restricted, especially for J&K. But what Geo Fiber did is they kind of blocked some extra IP addresses as well, because of which all these things weren't working for me. And actually, right now, how I'm connected to Riverside is because I had to get another Airtel fiber connection. That's how I'm logged in right now. And guys, an announcement that you can huddle me anytime now. It does work for me now.
Okay, that's a lot of efforts that you took to get on this platform. Rohit, so like this thing with the instability and the restrictions that the government has, is it impacting the region still? And like we have a lot of new technologies coming up and a lot of people from IT, moving to Jammu back to their hometown. So how is the demographics changing in this thing? How is the technology impacting the region?
I think uh, so. Basically, talking about technology, there is no such thing that we're not allowed to do here. It's equally the same. This is the only thing which I just recently heard that some of the things for IPs were blocked. But apart from the technology is equally accessible here as well. You have internet connections. But yes, sometimes what happens in Kashmir region, if there is any unrest happened over there, so what the government will do to ensure that there is no such chaos, what they'll do, they'll sometimes block internet connection for prepaid sims, but they will keep it enabled for probably the broadbands. Apart from that, I mean, if you're saying the technological changes, I think they are being introduced in the state equally as in other states as well. Even in Kashmir, in those backward government offices, there are technological attendance systems also enabled these days. So I think things are completely fine here. I think I only have this complaint of internet. Apart from that, everything is all good.
Okay, I think it's looking more like we are interviewing you on a technical front. So I'll just take a fun icebreaker, to switch up the format. And I think going forward, we are going to do this more with the PodWEX episodes. So there would be, like, let's take a scenario. You would have to tell me three things about yourself. But the twist is two of them will be lies and one will be the truth. So it might be up to the audience, and if the audience doesn't decide, I'll guess like what is the truth and what is the lies. So are you ready to
Two of
play?
them. So you want me to post?
Yes, you are
Uh-huh.
going to tell me three facts about yourselves. Out of them, two would be lies and one would be a truth. So
Okay.
I know I'm putting you on spot.
Uh,
So you can think of anything, and the audience can ping me whatever the correct answer is. Like what's the
okay.
lie
At
in
least I
this?
know the truths. Let me just think of
Okay.
a lie for a second. Yeah. Okay. I think let's start. So you want me to post three things, right? Okay. Uh,
Yeah, you can say them,
no,
you
no.
can post them, but
Let me
let's
tell
say
you.
you're
Yeah.
seeing them.
So one is that
Yeah.
I have met Sachin Tendulkar during IPL matches. Second would be I have
Okay.
been in front page of local newspapers. Third thing would be I have performed live in front of more than around 1,000 audience.
So I think the people who know you, they can guess at least one of the truths.
I hope they don't.
Guys, there's a bonusly for this. So anyone wants to ping me, the first ping would receive the bonusly. The correct answer.
Pankaj is saying first is truth.
Okay, first, I just want to know which is the
Okay,
lie.
first one is the lie. I have never met Sachin Tendulkar
Okay.
during IPL
Yeah.
matches because I've never seen Mumbai Indians match. I've seen Punjab matches and some other matches.
Okay, so you have disappointed Yash. He was hoping that the second was a lie, and Dhruv would like you to sing a lot of songs. So, moving on, I would, that's interesting that you have been on the front page. I just got that fact. So, how did you get on the front page? Like, what was the story behind it? Was it a good act or a bad one?
Uh, Definitely a good one. Otherwise, I wouldn't have said it right here. So yeah, if I talk about that thing, so it was because of my 12th grade. So in our 12th board exams, I was in the merit list of the state. I was the ninth topper in the board exams. So that's uh,
Celebrity.
no, I don't
That's
think
nice.
so. But yeah, this is how it was. But let me actually tell you a very brief story how it happened and how I got to know about it and how did I experience that. So when we gave our exams and we all start calculating how much marks do I get would I get, how much I would be expecting. But I had always this tendency that I'll never expect exactly how much I would get. I had this back in my mind that somewhere around 90% should do fine. On the result day, one of my friend calls me and he says, "Congratulations, bro! You have got more marks than me." I said, "Okay, I at least expected that." But he said, "I got 90," and now I got curious. He already said 90, and I've got more than him, and he told me that you've got 95, and I didn't know how to react. I just said thanks, buddy, and then I dropped the call. And right here at my house, there was nobody else but my mom. She was taking a nap, and after 5 minutes, I got a call from one of my maths professor. He calls me and he says, "Rohit, congratulations, you have been in the merit list." And now again, I don't know how to react because I didn't expect that. Not that my papers didn't go well, but I didn't expect that. I said again thanks, and I had no idea how to express this feeling. I still didn't tell my mom. And after again 5 to 10 minutes, I'm getting a call from one of my school, no, not one of my school principal, and he called me and said, "Rohit, you have to come to school right now. We are waiting for you here. You have to bring in your parents as well." And that's when I just shook up, and then I was like, okay, now I need to tell my parents. I told my mom that Mama, my results have come out and I've got 95%. She didn't listen to 95% part. She just said, have you passed?" I said yes, and she started crying. So and then I just told her, "You have to get prepared, you have to get ready, and we need to go to school." She got to know that, okay, actually my son has actually topped. And then we went to school. Over there were some local newspaper agencies already waiting. There were three to four students who were in the top 10. And back there we got some photographs clipped definitely. And there was a lot of newspapers were there, but one of the newspapers, there was a front picture of me with my mother. She was making me eat sweets, and that is one of the most beautiful memory I have ever had. And I never imagined that because of me, my mother would be there in the front page of a newspaper. I mean, I still get some goosebumps if
Mm,
I think about it emotionally.
definitely, that should be the proudest moment that
Yeah,
any son
and
has.
actually, so in continuation to this, so this was from my mom, but my dad was not here back then. Otherwise, he would have also be there. So he was in Bangalore, and when he got here, after some time, there was a felicitation ceremony which was organized by government of Jammu and Kashmir, and back then the chief minister of the state, Omar Abdullah, there was this award ceremony where we had to collect the awards. So I was not physically present here, so my dad had to go. Again, another proud moment in my life that my dad received a prize from chief minister on my behalf. Maybe it would be a small thing, but I don't know. I still think this is one of the biggest things I've achieved in my life. Although I was never proud of scoring those 95% marks, but I'm glad that this turned out to be like this.
That's really good. There should be a round of applause for you. So I think, like, you have been quite the model student like your whole life, because recently I saw there was a post on Instagram while I was doing the research on to get more content for this. I saw a post on Instagram like it was the best outgoing student from MIT college, I guess. So I had to ask you this, like, did you elbow your competition out of the way to win the trophy, or how? Like, what was the story behind this?
Okay, so for those who don't know what it is, it's a best outgoing student award, which is awarded per department from our college. My fellow MITians would know. I think Mehul would know. Dhruv may not because he's from WPY, I guess, and I don't think such thing existed for those kids. But yeah, if I talk about it, so this trophy. So we were in fourth year. I before this I didn't know about this thing exists. So during the last phases, there were some of my friends who would just casually talk about it and ask me, do you know when are the nominations for this? Do you know when is this gonna happening? Do you know what are the dates? I had no clue, and I would just take it casually. I didn't know it. And one fine day, I get a call from my HOD, and he called me, and then he said, "Rohit, congratulations! We are awarding you the best outgoing student from our department." And again, I had no clue, and I said thank you, because I had no clue because I didn't know when these nominations happened, if there were any nominations, what was the procedure, and I just said thank you. So after that, so basically, if I tell you what was the reason or the criteria for me to get this trophy, it was, I think they were looking for an overall performance. So I was academically in the top 5 to 10% in college as well. I was involved in a lot of cultural activities. I was involved in organizing tech events in college, and I was part of department's cricket team as well. That's another thing that we didn't even get to semis, but yeah, some of those things. I think yeah, all those things they collectively were looking in for this thing. Yeah.
So this ideal student strike continued till college. I think from school to college. That's good. That's good. Like, one should never lose that in college, and usually a lot of us do. Moving on, like, if some of us do lose that in college, you might also have, had your moments of rebellion. So, like, were you always studious or had some crazy, mischievous things during your college?
No, I wasn't studious though. I don't know. I think I just had this talent to score well in the exams. I was not a nerd. I was not someone who would study all day. But yes, if you talk about some of the college experiences, definitely there were a lot. Some of them I should not be speaking here, but I think I do have a story to tell. So what happened was when we were in the first year. So obviously, all the roommates we wouldn't know each other very well. Uh, so I had got a new SIM card, and there was a roommate, my roommate. It had been only 15 to 20 days we had met. So I decided to do a prank on him. I would go outside the room and give him a call from a new number, and I would just okay, okay. So I would just give him a call, and I would talk in girl's voice, just like Ayushman does in Dream Girl. So I would just try to do that. I called him, and I was talking to him that I saw you in the college. You're really handsome. You're from Jammu and Kashmir. I really like the people over there. Something like that. I just spoke some few buttery things, and then he also fell into the trap. So what I would do, I would not, I did not, uh, I did not do this for let's say long time. But what I did is for 2 3 days I continuously used to call him at 7 or 8 p.m. And then after when that call was hung up, so he would come to our room again, and he would tell us each and everything. Guys, this happened today. A girl called me, and now today she was saying this. Today she was saying that, and we would tell him to, why are you not asking her out? So this fine day, he was about to ask me, but I knew he didn't have the guts. So I just told him from here itself. You know what? It's been so many days now. Let's meet. So there was a CCD. Again, the MITians would know. There's a CCD in the on the college road. So I just told him, can we meet at CCD on Sunday? He was way too excited because he never thought this would happen, and he said yes. Now what had happened is that even though I was doing this prank, but I don't know, I was just feeling bad from inside as well. So I had given him 5 o'clock's time, and we went for a lunch. We went for college hostel lunch at 1 o'clock, and that's where on the road I told him, dude, this was all a prank. Let's just go to CCD if you still want me to go with you. So and after that he was completely shaken up. He wouldn't talk to me. He didn't talk to me, I think, the entire day. The next day he calmed down. I am not going to send him this link. He's one of my best friends now.
Oh, that's good. That must be cruel for him, but yeah, it turned out
Yeah.
to be best friends, so that's good. I never knew like people can be on the different roles. They can be a prankster because I never took you one.
I told you there were many stories,
So
but a lot of them I couldn't tell here, so I had to just pick one of them.
that's okay. That's okay. So moving on, like it was interesting to learn about how you from a studious person to a more of a open person when you where you're exposing to different kind of stuff. So moving on to your career side, uh, if let's say to make it more interesting, I would like to know like if you were not in IT, what would be the alternate profession or any aspiration that you had that you would go for? Because if you didn't pursue this software development, then you might be somewhere else. So what was and I think the audience has one request here. They want to hear girly voice. I'm not going to tell you to reply in that, but we can do it in
Definitely
rocks
not.
in the last.
Yeah.
So what was the other alternate profession that you would have chosen over software development?
I think without any doubt, singing. Yeah, even though I just mentioned I had many hobbies or I would be involved in a lot of things, but definitely singing.
Definitely singing. Okay, so I think a lot of people have heard you sing. So anyway, like do you prefer singing alone in the shower or performing in front of a live audience? That was something.
No, I mean, see, I'm neither a bathroom singer or a professional one. I just love singing to myself and sometimes in front of audience as well. It just gives me happiness, and I actually wish I had learned music professionally. But yes, to answer your question, that if I have sung in front of the audience as well, again there is another story to it. So back when I think I was in 8th standard or so, my brother had gone for his engineering degree, and the first time he came back with a phone. I mean, he had already a phone, but he showed me this song. He made me hear it. The song was "I'm Really Gonna Miss My College Days." I think a lot of people again would know here. So the moment I heard that song, I just loved singing. I had this in my mind. I had this dream in my mind that I want to sing this song once in my life, and that too. What if it happens on the farewell day? So now let me fast forward it. When I had received this best outgoing student, I was told by my department head that you have to give a farewell speech on behalf of the department on the farewell day. So that's when I decided that I am gonna live this dream of mine. And in the auditorium when I was giving a speech, and at the end I sang this song from my heart, and I think again this was another beautiful experience that I never dreamt that this how I will make this possible, but it just happened so smoothly that I feel fortunate enough. And also I used to sing in a couple of times I've sung in the college fests as well.
That's quite impressive. I think the audience might request you to sing in your girl's
I
voice
have
somewhere at the end.
okay. that, that's not that's not going to happen.
So so you are a singer, and do you have any particular favorite band or anything? Any any singers that you look up to?
uh, I think two of the singers are all-time favorite. One is Arijit Singh, because that is okay. Arijit Singh and Sonu Nigam. Arijit Singh because back when we were in I think 12th grade or so, this Tum Hi Ho movie had, sorry, not Tum Hi Ho, Ashiki 2 movie had come,
Ashiki too, yeah.
and this Tum Hi Ho had taken over all the world. This is still my one of my favorite songs. So I always had this dream to see Arijit Singh live in front of me. Okay, I think a lot of stories are coming up today. So what happened one fine day was we were somewhere. We had gone for lunch to Chaitanya's Paratha in Kothurud. I think you guys would know it. So there was a big hoarding over there. Arijit Singh is performing live in Mahalakshmi lawns in Magarpatta, if I'm not wrong, right? Yeah. So the ticket prices, they were I think starting from 750, and 750 was the back ones. I mean, you wouldn't be able to see him as a person. You would only be able to see him on the screen. So what happened was I had one of my roommates with me. So he had some desi jugards, which we say. So I just requested him, dude, can you do something to get these tickets? So he said, let me try, because he knew how big a fan I was. And what he did is, I don't think I can reveal much about here, much details about him here, but let me keep it short. So his dad was in some bigger post, and he made a call to the organizers. We saw the number from the hoarding. He made a call to the organizers. He said, he talked as if he was his dad's PA. He said, this person's son is studying in MIT. He needs some passes. And the guy said, I'll get back to you. And next time, he again called from the other number saying that, I'm the son. I hope you got a call. The person, he had confirmed few things, and he said, yes, you can come. Just get your ID proofs that we are giving the tickets to the right person. And we went there. We went. I think it was in on the Baner. We had to go there. We went, and we just called that person. He saw two people coming. He didn't ask for any proof, nothing. He came down. He handed over the tickets to us and said bye. And this is how we got the tickets. These were gold tickets, and only ahead of us was platinum. So gold was obviously an absolute beautiful experience. But one thing I want to share here is that during the end, when the show ends, you know that these singers would sing the iconic songs, and at the end he sung "Tum Hi Ho," and at that time, the people would cross the barricades as well. So everyone over there was with their phone on, flashlights on. I kept my phone in the pocket. I just was listening to him, seeing him, and I really, lived that moment. And today, if you tell me to close my eyes and try to think about it, I still get goosebumps of that moment, because I think it's hardly 5, 6, or 7 feet away from me, and that was such an amazing experience in my life. So yes, Arijit Singh, no doubt, but yes, Arijit Singh and Sonu Nigam have to be there, top two.
Definitely, like meeting your favorite singer or your dream, that's like more than a dream come true. That's beautiful. So moving on, like to your real life career, like you became a singer, you had your uh, publicity and everything. Now moving to your real life career, in your opinion, like do you think the IT career that you are into right now, is it all about technical skills or any other important factors at play? Because you might have learned things over time, and there can be something that as an experienced professional, you might be able to share.
Yeah, I think the number of years of experience I have, I may not be the best person to answer this, but at least I would have my own version. So back when I was in college, I was not a techie at all. So I would prefer to join some management role or something, and that's when Deloitte had come to our college. I thought I didn't know that they were hiring for technical interviews, but when I got to know what their rounds are, the first round was common apti, and the second round was group discussions. I was confident that I'll anyway crack it. Third round was HR discussion. So I was really glad, and I actually put in a lot of efforts to crack this, because I knew that this is my area and this is my space. And when I got into that personal interview, I didn't let them ask me a technical question. So when I say I didn't let me ask them a technical question, I just played around the world. I made them roam around Jammu and Kashmir. I gave them all the stories. So they just saw that this person could be a better fit for their company culture and all these things. And they had seen my marks, so they were confident. I think that's how I landed a job. So I think when you're entering into the IT industry, it depends on the luck. What direction you would get in. It's purely luck. Yeah.
So I think that's what's happening with us. You are taking us around the stories, and we are not asking you right technical questions. The similar
Please don't.
experience. Anyway, like so you got into Deloitte, and it's a big MNC, and we are working with MSMEs. Like that's very different. That's a very totally different experience. So any big lessons that you learned at Deloitte at your time during Deloitte, and they might have impacted your career. Anything that you can surely say that this thing that impacted my career in a totally different way.
Yeah, I think so. Right now, we're working in a startup culture, but before this, I was working in a very organized and structured firm, right? Uh, so, so what actually I learned in Deloitte, apart from what we learn everywhere, is that how to behave professionally, how to speak to your seniors, how to draft emails. Otherwise, in the very beginning, I would just draft some emails very casually, and some of my seniors, they were my mentors, and then they guided me. Dude, you have to be politically correct in your emails, even though you are speaking up your, what's in your head. So all those things, and I think discipline. These all things I did learn from there, and whenever I meet my juniors, or whenever I'm mentoring somebody, I always tell them to take care of this thing, because it's gonna take you miles away from your co-workers.
Okay, I have a question on the politically correct front, but I'll take it at the end. Uh, Continuing in this Deloitte story, like any regrets that you had from a career perspective, that you might have at your experience in Deloitte.
Um, Regrets from there, I don't think, because everything is a part of life. I actually don't keep regrets. I just always prefer to take positives even out of the negatives one. So I have this thing, one experience to share. So back, I think back when I had less than 2 years of experience itself. One day, my team lead, he called me, and he was right there sitting with me. He said, Rohit, I have suggested your name to go for on-site. And I was really surprised, because there were senior people as well in the team, and back in Deloitte, they would only send architect level people. But over there, on the on-site, you have to actually, more than your architectural skills in some places, you have to ensure that you are dealing with the people correctly. So I think somehow he had seen few positives from there in me, and I had to actually replace a senior architect. So he was coming into India for a month, and there were two people who would go from here, me and some other person. He was senior as well. So I was surprised. I had no clue that how my name was there in the list, but somehow he had managed the senior manager as well, that though it could be a good fit, we can let him go for 2 weeks, because it was a 2 weeks thing. So I was like, that's a great thing. I never expected it, but it happened. But what happened was, I think I took some I was a little casual when I was filling up the form. I should have taken it very seriously. So I filled the form. I scheduled my interview date to 4th of April, and now I was told to book my tickets, because the consulate office was in Hyderabad. I was told to book the tickets, and we were also about to book the tickets to LA, because even though there are rejection options, I mean, there's a rejection rate is high, but they still wanted us to book the tickets. I don't know, they were way too confident, or they could cancel the tickets without any cancellation. I don't know, but so what happened was, I was just preparing for the interview. A lot of seniors, my managers, they would tell me, what you need to tell and what not. So on 15th or 14th, I think there was a notification that the consulate offices will be shut because of COVID. And I had my interview lined up just 2 weeks after that. And I knew that, after this interview, on 4th of April, we were planning to fly to LA on 10th of April. So that was a setback. Definitely it was a setback. But again, I think, talking about regrets, I didn't take it too hard on me. What I, thought about it is that I never expected this thing to happen. It happened to me. It went away. So there's no point in regretting. I just took some positives, that I was at least considered for this role. It gave me some confidence boost, but I did not sit there and cry for it for my life. But yeah, it was a small
I
story.
think that's the learning that you take from it. Some things can happen, they can come to you suddenly, they might not happen. So you have to learn like how to move on and
Actually,
take the learnings from it.
I do apply this to my personal life as well. I don't sit for any regrets. I just take forcefully, try to take some positives out of the negative things as well, and try to move on my life.
That's really good. I was talking to Pankaj few days back and I learned about this initiative that you got into, and you were teaching whatever you learned to kids in college. So I also wanted to know about that. Like you posted about it on LinkedIn. What was it? You were giving this BA lessons to them, or what was it exactly?
Okay, yeah. So I think you remember when we were speaking to Pankaj for our podcast, we were prepping up for our episode. So I was speaking to Pankaj, and you were not on the call. So we were talking a lot, and then he told, I was just sharing my experiences. and he told me that there is an opportunity. Would you like to take it? The opportunity was to teach some college students the Salesforce Business Administration course. I didn't know because we have office right Monday to Friday, and how would I do it? So he said just you can at least talk to them, give it a try. I talked to them, and they needed someone who would teach them, who would go in person and teach them. But I at least made this pact that I can try to go on the weekends, and on weekdays I can keep some doubt clearing sessions, let's say somewhere around 9 to 10, sorry, between 7 to 9. So yeah, we started this from on November, in November I think, and we ended it in January. It was an amazing experience, teaching the kids, because I knew I could relate them more than a professional trained person would do. Not just the certification thing, or not just the Salesforce course. I just gave them a lot of placement tips and tricks, because not everyone would be interested in Salesforce specifically. They had so many doubts that they wanted to clarify. So I think that was one area where I think it did an impact. And I think I would like to thank Pankaj, who he just randomly told me about this, and told me about this
So I
opportunity.
think it's one of our good qualities about CloudWorks that we teach our employees to give 1% back to the community. So I think you did your part in that, going
Yeah,
back
definitely.
to the students and teaching them something. So
And I
that's
think
really good experience.
and when I had to do this, I would again call Pankaj. Pankaj told me to just reach out to me on phone for anything if you want. I did call him a couple of times, and post that I did speak to Darshan as well, because that's how I want to, because I have never actually taught professionally, but Darshan gave me a very good path that you should do it this way, and that happened really smoothly then.
So from Darshan, I remember like there are a lot of questions in the audience, and I think we, in the context of time, I can take one of them. So this might be a little sensitive one, uh, since the region is very different and it's difficult, when things come. Let's say this movie that came few days back, it had a lot of impact on the region, or you can say there was a lot of discrimination which people felt during that time. So what's your take on this? Or you can rather answer it to be politically correct. Like, have you faced any discrimination because of the JNK fact?
No, 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 no. There's no discrimination which I have faced. But I think if the question is related to, you mentioned the movie, right? So it should be Kashmir Files, right? There was no discrimination though, but yes, whatever happened. So I'm a Kashmiri Pandit. Whatever happened back with us in 90s, it was really unfortunate. Uh, so I mean, I don't have words to explain this, because I haven't seen that live with in front of me. I mean. Um my mom was pregnant at that time, and she had to travel with no luggage, no possessions. My so the entire family had to come. They came in trucks, and they stayed here in tents. A lot of people died here because they did not know how to deal with the summers here. But the good thing is that, but we again, we took the good things out of all this. Our parents or our community, they decided to leave all these things past, and not have this impact on their kids. So they did everything to ensure that we get the best education. And I think we'll always be thankful to our parents and our community that we always focused on studies. And right now, we do see it as a I mean, it's a scar for lifetime for my parents, for the entire community. But at least we never just got stuck there. We always moved on in life. And yeah.
That's a good thing that people moved on. That's, I think, that everyone should learn from this episode, I could say. Rohit, I think we are at our time for this episode, and there's one last question that I think one of the very senior members of our company had. How did you get introduced to chess, and did you ever play it professionally?
Uh, no, 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 no. I've never played chess professionally. So what happened was in the lockdown. Yeah, I think it was back in the lockdown when we had no work to do. We had no real life meetings with people, which we used to have. So we would anyways get bored, right? A lot of people would just post things. They would cook new meals. They would do and post it on the social media, all these things. But those things are only for weekends, and it just takes a couple of hours. And a lot of people, I think, got affected mentally as well, right? A lot of people were feeling depressed. They were feeling more anxiety. But one fine day, I was just surfing YouTube and I saw this Samir Rana's YouTube channel. So what he did back then was he invited a lot of comedians to his show. Now that chess is seen as a very boring thing, right? Why would anyone be watching live streams of chess? So he would involve comedians. They would just crack jokes and play chess alongside. So that's when I started watching this, and not just me. I think a lot of people from the company I know as well. They have started their chess career kind of from there, not career but chess journey from there. So that's when I got introduced to chess. And in the lockdown, if I'm feeling alone, if I'm feeling sad, anything, I knew what I had to do. I just opened chess. It became an addiction as well. I used to uninstall the app again and again, and then install it back to play. So that's
But
how
that's
it
so
happened.
innovative, right? Getting comedians and everything. And I think this innovative thing you brought to the event that we did as well, where we had a different format, like you have to play with two people play together in one team. So
Yeah.
I think
So
this innovation thing, a lot of people got innovative on that.
yeah. Also speaking about that event, I think so. I just spoke to Rohit.
We have the question, next to chess tournament. So people are wondering when I brought up that tournament thing, when are we going to have next one?
Okay, and I'm really sorry that it didn't happen till now, because we already got a very positive response on that. We definitely want to have this, but I think from the past some time we wanted to start our podcast series again as well. So once this gets stabilized and things are going fine, we will definitely host another chess tournament, and this time it's gonna be bigger, better, and entertaining.
Definitely. That's a great news, and I think on this note, Rohit, we will have to end our today's episode. So it was a very brilliant take from your side on a lot of politically sensitive questions and a lot of learnings that you shared with our audience. And I think people are definitely wiser about Jammu and Kashmir today in from today's episode.
Yes, I
Thank
hope
you for
I
talking to
hope
us
that
and sharing the insights.
I hope that what I thought in the beginning, that at least it will not be a disappointment for the audience. I hope at least I at least lived 50% up to their expectations. If it is that, then I would be really happy.
Definitely.